Welcome to the third video on Awakening Your Spirit. Today I want to talk about speed, the speed of life. Your spirit is constantly tuned in to the speed of life and the speed of your own system, the capacity of your own system, the energetic structure of your system. And it regulates your inspiration based on your speed and the speed that life is calling you to live. And when you listen to your spirit and you tune into your spirit and you stay tuned to it and you respect whatever is the speed it's calling you to live at, everything flows and it's sustainable and it keeps on flowing. The two main issues that come up is that either you don't listen to the speed that you're being called to live at, which is you slow down, you retract, you resist because you're being called to do something that is scary, something that is uncomfortable, something that's truly going to shake you because life is calling you to show up in ways that you haven't before, or you're pushing too hard and you don't want to stop, you don't want to slow down when your system, your spirit is calling you to be slower. So, here are the two things that happen. First is that the spirit is fueling you with a lot of inspiration. It's giving you ideas, it's giving you a lot of passion to go and do something. When the time comes to do it, suddenly you start feeling resistance and you slow down and you back off. Life is calling you to be at 100% or even 200% sometimes. Life is calling you to be really put everything in, put your full fire into it, put your full passion, be in your zone of genius, be in the flow. And you, because you're afraid of what you're being called to do, you slow down, you step back. Being afraid is normal. Stepping back, slowing down is normal. The issue happens is if you don't do something about it to change gears and to match the speed at which life is calling you to be. Match the intensity at which life is calling you to be. If you continue indulging in your fear instead of listening to your fear and doing something to change it, doing something to move forward anyways, either calling in more courage, either connecting with your power and coming into your confidence, or preparing in some way that your fear is telling you you need to prepare. Basically, you're doing something to move out of the fear and come into the flow that life is calling you to be in. If you do that, you come back in tune with your spirit and the energy keeps flowing. One of the common ways of being avoidant, of rejecting life, is to replace it with busy work, just to grind, just to do what is familiar. That's one of the things that the mind does, is that it comes up with a list of tasks that will make you look busy, that will make you look like you're doing things, but you're not doing the things that inspiration is calling you to do. You're just doing what is comfortable. You're doing the things that will make you feel like, oh, I'm working, oh, I'm doing something. But you know that what will really make the difference, what will really push you to that next level, what will really actually move the needle, so to speak, is doing the thing that's scary, that's going to be calling you to live at a 200. Grinding, being busy, you can do at 80, you can do at 100. And you can keep telling yourself that you're working, you can keep telling yourself that you're moving forward. But you know that really moving forward for you in this specific case is to make that leap and do the scary thing. That is one of the ways of avoidance, is being busy. So, where in your life are you being busy instead of actually showing up in the way life is calling you to show up? To show up at the intensity that life is calling you to show up. If you keep resisting and you start indulging and into procrastination, into laziness, into avoidance, what happens then is that the spirit says, okay, this one is not ready for it. I'm going to go with someone else. someone else who will be ready to listen to the inspiration, someone else who will act in this way and do the thing that life is calling for. And suddenly your inspiration dies down and it goes away in many areas of your life. And then you start complaining, but I want inspiration, but where is my inspiration? I don't feel inspired. I'm ready to show up at 80, maybe not 100 and 200, but I'm ready to show up at 80. But that's not how inspiration works. Inspiration is a snowball effect. Inspiration is you acting and doing the things that you are meant to be doing for your highest path. If you keep backing off, resisting, avoiding life, and doing what you're meant to be doing, life also backs off. You have to be an equal dance partner with life to be co creating. Otherwise, life will go pick someone else who will dance with it instead of someone who keeps saying, oh, this is too much for me, I don't want to do this. On the other hand, you may be pushing too hard. You may be going too fast. You may be going at a very high intensity, and life is telling you to slow down. Life is calling you to dial it down to 100 or an 80, and you're going at 200 or 300. And you say, why should I back down? I have so much energy. Keeping your fire sustainable is learning how to operate at the intensity that is best for your system. There may be someone else who's going at a 200, 300, and that's who they are. That's their system. And you get competitive. You want to be in the same energy. You want to prove something. You want to show that you are as good as them. But it doesn't work for your system. Maybe what works best for your system is to work a few days, take rest, work a few days, take rest. And there's someone else who can go non-stop 24/7 for 2 months and then they take a month off. That's how their system is wired. Learning to respect the speed of your system, learning to go at your pace, whatever pace your spirit is telling you is best for you. Respecting that is what keeps your fire sustainable and makes you also enjoy life, where you're doing things from the right place for the right reasons. You're not doing it to prove something to someone else, to compete with someone else, to be better than someone else. You are in your zone of genius. You value yourself, you take care of yourself, and you cultivate your fire and take care of your fire. It's not about just doing things and winning some race. It's about enjoying life. It's about enjoying the whole process while loving yourself, while taking care of yourself, and doing your zone of genius for much longer. Because when you keep your fire sustainable, you can go much further, you can go much longer. Because it's also about the long game. You're not here just to peak for a few years, burn out, and then go into the shadows. If you truly want to play the long game with your life and be shining throughout your life, you have to learn how to make a sustainable fire. Sometimes life is even calling you to take an extended break, something that may not be rational. Sometimes life is calling you to take a break for 2 months, 3 months, just really completely slow down. You have to realize that there is such a thing as inspired rest and inspired breaks. When you listen to your spirit, there's space for inspired action and there's space for inspired rest. And when you learn how to do both, that is when your fire is the most sustainable. Because also, when you're inspired to take rest, there is space being created not only for rejuvenation and renewal of your energy, but there's also space being created for new inspiration to come in. Maybe you need to recalibrate the track that you're on. Maybe you've gone down a path which is not best for you, and you're being called back to step back to recalibrate or to go on a completely new track. Sometimes life is calling you to take either short or long breaks because it's time for a recalibration, because it's time for fresh new inspiration and to completely shut off whatever you're doing so that you can do what you're meant to be doing. Maybe you have been on a track for a very long time and life is calling you somewhere else and you've not been listening, and it's just the best way to do it is to slow down, stop completely, and listen to where life is calling you. Learning to listen to all of these cues that come from your intuition, from your spirit, on navigating between action and rest, inspired action and inspired rest. When you learn how to balance these, when you learn how to operate in both zones, because both zones are what allow you to thrive. When you learn how to be in this balance of life, when you realize that action and rest are two sides of the same coin, it's not one against the other. It's not something to balance with 1 hour of meditation and a 20-minute speed or no power, or with a 20-minute power nap. When you realize that rest is something that your system calls for naturally for whatever amount of time it needs, and you learn to listen to it and to give your system that gift, that's also an act of self love, and your system responds with more energy when you come out of that rest, with more inspiration, with more creativity. When you learn how to be in this flow and treat yourself with that love, with that care, with that respect, everything thrives more. I am excited to share that I've created a free Telegram group called Pandaland, where a group of us practice these spiritual mastery teachings, and I keep sharing more. And I'm also available if you need support, if there's any kind of resistance or struggle in applying these teachings in your everyday life. That's exactly what the group is created for. The link is in the description, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much for watching.